nervous because I'm here now.
Welcome in, everybody, to another episode of 410 Sports Talk. I'm Glenn Martin here with my co-host James Haskell. And in this episode, we're going to discuss after the Ravens beat down from the hands of the Kansas City Chiefs, do they need to bring in some more help in the wide receiver position? Do they have enough guys in-house, or do they need to look elsewhere to bring in some help? But before we discuss that, please take 1 second, click the subscribe button, give us a like. And if you're interested in interacting more with the show, click on our Patreon link. We look forward to hearing from you. But Jimbo, is what the Ravens have right now in their receiving room enough, or do they need help?
We need help.
Yeah.
We need help. I didn't feel that way until yesterday. I didn't feel a lot of things until yesterday after that game. Wow. What 60 minutes of football will do to you. Yes, we need help. Marquise Brown, unfortunately, not that he's not a number one. I think he is, but he got out physical last night.
By
at the
a rookie.
At the same time, I mean, he made some plays as far as getting open, and you know, the throw wasn't great. Wasn't all his fault, but outside of him, we have no one that scares people. And obviously teams in the past 2 weeks have been able to shut Mark Andrews down, or he's just not playing
Or
well.
he's on self-check because he dropped a couple balls yesterday. At least
right. It's like a mixture of both, right? Whatever it is, but we're not deep enough there. We don't have enough weapons there to spread the wealth. I totally think we need help. What about you?
Yeah, I think that my issue is the fact that I think we're missing that one complementary piece to Hollywood Brown and to the other speedsters that they drafted. We only have Mark Andrews is really, and now I guess Nick Boyle might start becoming that too, but is our only real red zone jump ball guy. We don't have we'd like that to be Boykin, but every single time Boykin is given an opportunity to 50-50 ball, he doesn't even get his hands on it, much less catch it. I mean, usually he ends up tangled up with the defender and falling down before the ball even gets there. So he has been a complete and total disappointment to both of us. We were so high on him when he came out. We were so hyped to see him in training camp and preseason his rookie year. He's been nothing but a disappointment since that training camp. So I think they need help. I think they need a possession receiver. But the question is there a guy out there? I mean, it looks like the Ravens right now have $13 million under the cap, but is there a guy on the free agent market that would even warrant that?
Yeah. So really quickly, I have also been disappointed in Boykin. However, you might be more disappointed than me in Boykin. I think he has made some progress this year. He has flashed. But I think what you're trying to say there is that we need that type of guy that can win the 50-50 balls, right? Like in the end zone, the fade route, just throwing it up. You know, we even saw small guys like Steve Smith. You remember when Joe dropped
Tyreek Hill?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you know, just the ability of a guy to use his body to create space for himself to catch the ball in the end zone.
High point a ball, man. High point a ball.
Yeah, we need a guy that can do that. So, there are some names out there.
Okay, tell me.
There's some names. I'm gonna light the world on fire. I think I wanted Dez Bryant to be a Raven when he came in the first time. Dez it looks like he's in phenomenal shape, and this is the thing I can never say about Dez Bryant. As rambunctious, as outlandish and outspoken as he's been, he loves the game of football. If he didn't, he would not be in the shape he's in today. He would not be doing the things he's doing and continue to hone in on his craft. And I don't think the things that we're asking Boykin to do, unfortunately, I think 90% of that is just instinct. It's something you have or you don't. To be able to use your body, know where you're at, and know where the other guy is at as well, is not very common, and I don't think it's something you can teach. At least only a certain percentage of that you can teach. So I think Dez is a big one. Before I get your opinions on, well, you know what? I'm not going to give you my other name yet because I don't want you to lose your mind. But what's your take on Dez?
I think that if Dez was a serious option, he'd already be here. I think he was brought in and they worked him out, and they probably saw that he's not at this point able to get separation. He was never a big separation guy, even in his prime. So I think that he probably just showed that he didn't have the ability to separate, at least according to them, and that he would be required. So I want a guy who can win 50-50 balls, but I don't want a guy who has to only win 50-50 balls because he can't separate. That would Yeah, I don't know if I want that. But there is one guy out there, and I'm going to beat you to the punch because I
Oh
know who you're
boy.
going to say. And there is one guy that I think we can all agree that on the football field would, in fact, gain
I
separation.
can't believe Glenn Martin is about to say this.
Well, look, all I'm saying is that he's out there, and that's Mr. Antonio Brown. We know that he has an 8-game suspension looming over his head, but as far as I know, that's all the league. Like that's the only penalties he will be facing from the league.
Yep.
So there's nothing else. So just the 8 games. It's an interesting. It's a tough one always because of the fact that he's going to bring this. He's going to bring one thing on the field, but you don't know what he's going to bring to the locker room. So for me personally, I would say no to Antonio Brown. And I don't see how their actions with the Earl Thomas issues, their history on dealing with players with legal issues, everything points to them not signing him. So I would say that they will not sign him, but I had to bring him up because I know that he's been brought up a lot by commenters and pundits. So I had to bring him up. But I personally would say heck no to Antonio. I don't want his volatile personality in the locker room. I don't care how desperate he is and how much everyone thinks he's going to be on the straight and narrow.
Wow.
Yeah.
Stone cold, just
No.
drawing the line in the sand.
And I do, after you give your take, I do have some options. So I don't want to say I don't want Antonio, but I have nothing for you. I do have options for you.
All right. So this is what I'll say about Antonio. I am not concerned about the effect that he could have on the locker room. What I'm concerned about is the psyche of Lamar Jackson on the field. We saw what Baker does with forcing the ball to OBJ, right? What's going to happen in the first week when he doesn't get 5 targets is my only concern. If he doesn't get 5 to 9 targets, right? Like, is he going to be outspoken? Is he going to be throwing coolers? Is he going to be having a fit? Is he going to be, freezing his feet off? Is he going to be saying his helmet doesn't work? What, is he going to be live streaming the locker room? I don't know. But dang it. Just
in theory.
Yeah.
In theory, he looks, but look, let me just remind you that Lamar Jackson threw for 97 yards last night. How would Antonio Brown be in his post-game interview after Lamar threw for 97 yards and maybe he caught 40 of those?
Yeah, so that I totally agree with you there. And that's my concern is that before, I don't want to make this video about Lamar. It's not, but I'm concerned about the psyche of Lamar Jackson right now. I feel like it's a little fragile. Yeah. And what he's always been a steady Eddie guy, and I think he has a lot of confidence. I think that right now is an important part of his career. And is he going to be labeled as a empty calorie stats guy who's fun to watch?
Is he Barkley? Did he come along at the wrong time?
Right. He's thinking about all those things, and you feel for a kid like that. But I think that if I had to pick, Glenn, if you're asking me to take a side here, I don't think we have another option because I don't think we can win it without help. At the end of the day, I don't think we can win it without help. And unless I'm convinced of your other options and what we have to give up to get them if they're in the trade market,
okay,
I'm taking AB.
All
but
right,
that's only if Dez isn't around. I still believe in Dez.
Well, I mean, I gave my opinion on both of those. I
Hold
would say
on, real quick,
no
though.
on both of those.
Let me ask you this. Let's I don't want to we can get as heated as you want. All right.
Okay. All right.
You're telling me you would rather whatever Dez is right now, you'd rather keep seeing Miles Boykin out there than see what Dez has got. Just see what he's got.
Well, I think they did see what he's got, and obviously they didn't like what they saw
in workouts. But I don't think they thought Boykin, who is a practice player, apparently, because he ain't a gamer.
Yeah.
Apparently he's shining in practice, but it's not happening on the field. That's all I'm saying.
I think that you have to take his personality into effect too. It's not just Antonio Brown. This guy was a disgruntled person as well, and while yes, he's desperate, I understand all that. It's you are who you are. So it's hard for me to believe that he's not going to be unhappy with his role here when it would be extremely limited. And then how is he as a blocker? We know that they love Boykins as a blocker, but I agree with you. He's not a number 2. He's not even close to a number 2. And I don't see how he ever will become one. But let me just help you out here because there's some guys out there. We know Eric DeCosta is a wizard at the trade deadline. He's a guy that can turn a 5th round pick into a Pro Bowler, and he's done it multiple times. That's right. So I'm looking at some 0-3 teams. I'm looking at some teams that maybe are expected to drop out of contention by or around the trade deadline. Some teams looking to rebuild. And why not look anywhere else than the Jacksonville Jaguars, who have shown that they, even though their team is performing pretty darn well, considering, they have made it clear that they are in rebuild mode and they want as many picks as they can get. I look at receiver Keelan Cole out of Jacksonville, who's got a 1-year deal right. He signed a 1-year, $3.2 million deal. He's 27 years old. He's 6'1", 195 pounds. I think he's playing pretty darn good this year. Right now, PFF has him as their, let's see, where do I have
10th
him?
ranked.
Oh,
right?
yeah, 16th
ranked.
rated wide receiver in the league. But let me point out one thing, which I know all Ravens fans would love. The guy can run block his tuchus off. I mean, the guy he's got an 81 run blocking grade, which is second on my list is what, as far as receivers. I see one receiver better than him as far as a run blocker. So the guy can run block. He can run routes. He's a bigger guy. He's 6'1", so he's not, the slight like we have. We got a lot of smaller guys that are fast. He's a little bit taller. And so, yeah, start looking around at teams that you see that are falling out of contention and find guys that are on expiring contracts that the Ravens could look to get for a relatively late round draft pick. They could really come in and help, because I just don't see it on the free agent. When I look at the free agent list, I don't see it. I see some head cases that I wouldn't want to go have anywhere near this locker room, and every move that the Ravens have done shows me that they don't want that either. So I gotta trust what they've been doing and think they're going to keep down that same path. And I think they're going to look to other teams to get some talent.
Yeah, no, I agree with you there. Just the last thing before we go, guys, is if we're not going to get help on the outside, I'm still convinced that we need it. I don't think we do without it. We've got to find a way to get, I mean, maybe they're not performing, but Prochet needs to get his hands on the ball, and Duvernay he's obviously a playmaker. Every time Devin Duvernay has touched the ball, he's done something. He's taken advantage of all his opportunities. We saw the jet sweep, we saw the touchdown, we saw week 1, the quick screen for like 13 yards or so. I realize small sample size, but it's also just as impressive that in a small sample size, he's been able to make the most of it.
Yeah.
So let us know what your guys' thoughts are. Let us know if you agree with us that we need help from the outside. I think Glenn and I both definitively say, yes, we need help from outside this organization as it stands as far as wide receivers go. Let us know if there's any names that we missed out on. Give us your take on AB.
Yes.
And
Dez.
And we'll talk to you guys soon.
See you.